Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Crossover Event by Geek Fruit. This week's guest is a very popular comedian and fellow nerd and
Yeah.
comrade, Sahil Shah. Hi
Hello,
Sahil,
hello, hello.
it's Tejas
Hello,
and
everybody.
Dinkar.
Hello,
Hey,
Sahil
guys.
Shah. How do you
Wow.
do?
Hey, I'm so glad that I'm part of this totally non-coordinated, that, hey, we will call you at this point of time, be ready, call you. On the, like, offer.
I think the word you're looking for is
Absolutely
organic.
impromptu.
It's really organic.
Yeah, it's organic. It's organic. I can feel the.
Hey, but one second, Sahil Shah, as
Yeah.
far as coordination goes, this was fairly like zero stress. Like
It was literally like, hey, so we've got this event and we think you'll be great. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And they were like, hey, you want to hear more? And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. We'll do it. What do you want me to do?
You know what's even more incredible is that we just threw the concept at you of like, okay, you need to talk about something you really care about that you don't get to talk about, and you're like, Tinkle, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Like you
I know,
immediately
I
had
love
a
that
thing.
decisiveness. So good.
Okay, can I be honest? Like for the longest amount of time, I have been talking about how much I love reading comics, how I love reading comics. But I'll speak the truth. I didn't read comics while growing up. I couldn't get them near me, and I could like even if I would get, I couldn't buy issue by issue, right? So I would just get a random
Yeah.
comic from the store, and that also like a Raddiwala. So it's not even like I could. We don't have a dedicated comic book shop culture, right? We don't have that. So the best I could do was have a Tinkle subscription, and boy, I would collect, and I still like. I'm sitting with my collection right here. These are the
Nice.
newer versions. I've got a vintage version also, Tinkle Digest.
Love vintage. Look at that logo.
Yeah,
Tinkle
dude.
Digest
Oh my
is
gosh.
the best.
The
Dude, you can
digest.
see the animation.
Oof.
Honestly speaking, my dream was a twofold dream. One day I wanted to grow up and write for Tinkle, which I somehow managed to do, not for the comics, but
Amazing.
for like a digital version, which was like a dream come true. And the other thing was I've always wanted to be part of this. It happened to me.
It happened to
I
me.
know. Oh my god.
You know what?
Like-
We don't have the Twilight Zone, but we have It Happened to Me.
But half of the It Happened to Me plot twist would be like I was doing something and then I got involved in a bank robbery and then the cops came, but luckily I found out they were Tinkle fans and I was a Tinkle fan, so they let me go. Like half of them
That's
were
a
just
meta.
fake.
It happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like I wish an It Happened to Me story would feature the It Happened to Me column in the story. That would totally fucking blow my mind.
When I wrote into it happened to me, I realized that it had happened to me.
That's so funny. That would be hilarious. Okay, so Sahil, explain Tinkle for those who have, for whatever reason, don't know what Tinkle is. The tagline of Tinkle is where learning meets fun. But how would you give like an elevator pitch to somebody who didn't grow up in India, perhaps? And I know Dinkar and I didn't either. But I mean, obviously, we're Indians. So when we used to come back for holidays, train on the train station, pick up a.
Dude, it was a classic train
Tinkle.
station pickup.
It is a
Yeah, so how
classic
would you-
train station pickup. I mean, you can't put it even more apt than train station pickup, right? The amount of times I would just randomly be walking by and you'd see a stall, okay, and just a newspaper stall, and newspaper would have like random newspapers, and there would be those old school magazines like
Like a
and a
Chanda
few
Mama.
Chanda Mama, exactly. And then there would be
Yeah.
Tinkle, okay, hanging about, and you'd be like, what is this? What are these comics about? And you just pick up one, and once you start reading one, you can't stop reading them because it's just all the stories and the characters are so fascinating because they're Indian characters. It's as simple as
First of
that,
all, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you
Characters who
Indian
look like
characters-
me.
Yeah, exactly. And also no thought has gone into the names because you've got Kalia the Crow, which is like, okay, what who else do we have? We have
It's interesting that before we have entered the age now of like this Quibi and really short format content, the Tinkle stories were always, if it is in the title, which is digest, they were very digestible because of the sheer the length of it was not too long, not too short. Like the longest stories would go on for a max of maybe 8 to 10 pages or sides or whatever. And then some, so like Supandi and like Nasruddin Hodja would just be a single page guy. Boom. And I'm entertained in one page, 5 panels. Boom.
Look at this Supandi comic. 1, 2, 3. You're done with the Supandi story.
Classic.
It's
It's a
so
three-hitter.
easy. That's it.
Can you tell us what that is? Can you just read out the comic for us? Do a small read.
Okay, yeah, of course. One day, do you know how deep this river is? Subandi says, it's not deep at all. You can ride your bicycle through it. Are you sure? It looks very deep. I thought so too, but then I saw a duck crossing it, and the water barely covered its feet. The other guy goes, huh?
That was beautiful.
Love it.
That was an amazing reading.
So thank you for that reading. I thought this is a great opportunity to do a good analysis of all the Tinkle characters, because I know when we were discussing this episode, you said you had one insight that honestly, like, even we hadn't heard before. So let's just go through the characters. Dinks, roll them out.
Classics, of course. We just went over Supandi, who, by the way, the idea for the character was reader submission, apparently. That blew my mind. Like, a reader wrote in, like, hey, why don't you make a character like Supandi? It blew my mind that the most successful character in Tinkle was created by a reader who probably saw, like, no bucks off of that. He should be getting, like, 10% of our train station purchases.
That's the ultimate, it happened to me.
Yeah, it happened to me. I once came up with a blockbuster character and then gave it away to Tinkle Digest.
I will say this about Supandi, dude. In anticipation of this episode, I picked up the Tinkle app. And the Supandi one is described. So this is canon, guys. Supandi is Tinkle's most beloved character, is Supandi.
Yeah.
I think that checks out.
If you say Tinkle, the first thought comes to your mind is Supandi, then you come off the other characters. Some of them are very, very rare. Like if I tell you Zim Zim and Gotala, you'll be like, okay, fine, I get it.
All right, what are the other ones?
There's Tantri The Mantri, there's Shikari Shambu. Pretty much all of these characters can be described with one adjective. Like the entire thing is one adjective. Supandi, he's a dumb. Shikari Shambu, he's a scaredy cat
he's
who also gets very lucky.
Yeah. He's a coward.
Yeah. It is so simple. They're like, okay, we'll have a hunter, right? His name will be Shambu. I don't know. I'm not sold. Shikari Shambu, sold. Done. We'll have a guy called Tantri. He's a mantri. Sold. I don't need any more.
The rhyme sells it.
If I may just tell you about Tantri. So there's a recent development in issue 716 of Tinkle, which Tantri finally becomes king. The job he has been seeking for his entire life, which is he becomes the Raja.
Dude, and like I read Captain America saying "Hail Hydra" kind of moment. It's huge.
It was.
It's huge.
It's very big.
It's big, and it's kind of in media res, man. So it starts off by he's being crowned, like coronated, as Raja, and there's only a little blurb at the top of the page which says that Raja Huja, the previous Raja, was killed while he was on a palanquin by the rebels. The Mantri has now become the Raja, and the entire story, it doesn't end with like him not like losing the crown or anything like that. Without spoiling it, I think the main lesson he's learning is this what he wanted ultimately, now that he has it? Like, it's like an existential one, because he realizes it comes with so many responsibilities. He's like, did I want this in the first place? So, and the issue is called Just the Beginning. There you go.
That's incredible.
That's
Shakespearean stuff.
That is,
and he's got like his own mantri now called Dushta Buddhi.
Dushta
who is his own, who is a very Tantri type character who royally fucks up literally, all his plans. It's mad. Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine applying for a job as someone called Dushta Buddhi. Like, sir, my name is Dushta Buddhi. Like, okay, cool. You're not an evil guy, right? I just need to confirm. Nahi sir, bas naam hai Dushta Buddhi. Haan, to fir aaja.
Sahil, what do you think is the most underrated Tinkle character?
Who is the most underrated? See, I'll tell you what. Shambu, Supandi, I'll tell you my favorites and I know. Like, I actually used to enjoy reading Uncle Pi. It was a very like weird thing with that one guy, and he calls children over and he explains science to them. It's very exciting to read. No joke.
It's such a bizarre concept.
It is
a guy
weird
with
one.
like glasses in the beard. He's like, come in, kids. Let me tell you about science.
But come on, man. He was like a Bill Nye the Science Guy kind of dude.
Yeah,
like
he
before
was.
Bill Nye, for me, there was Uncle Pi, the science guy.
The science. Uncle Pi the Science Guy is a t-shirt I'd like to buy, man. That's
Oh man.
That's a great
Yeah,
t-shirt. I used to love all the characters. The character I used to hate, I mean, it's a different thing. I used to hate Kalia the Crow. I just hated him.
Why?
Why?
He is a smartass, and more importantly, he's a fucking crow. He eats. He's a scavenger. He will have to eat the dead bodies. If he keeps on saving people, what the fuck is he going to eat?
He's too smart for his own good.
He's too smart for his own. Unless he's vegan, then that really changes the plot. But that Tinkle has not yet introduced that thread yet.
You know who I hated though? Ramu and Shamu.
Ramu and Shamu, the shenanigans. It's all about the shenanigans.
But also they were two little Dennis the Menaces, but not very funny.
In the newer time, they introduced two characters that I hated. Very Ramu Shamu, like these two guys who would become detectives. Basically, the idea is
so defective detectives is drawn by a friend Abhijit.
I know that. I know that. See, look, okay. Let me just clarify. Okay, first things first.
They're supposed to be kind of annoying, so I get it. But yeah.
I have met the Tinkle people at Dulali. Like once I randomly met them, and I'm like, oh my god, can I just tell you, my entire childhood was based on what you guys made, and I love you so much for that. I have written defective detectives. That's why I'm telling you it's annoying, right? Because there was a time when Tinkle wanted to create digital shots, and you can check it out on YouTube. You can type Tinkle digital shots.
I have seen them. Yeah, I've seen the Supandi ones and the Shikari Shambu ones.
Supandi was all puns. Okay, I would just add puns, and every Supandi was a very simple. Supandi is a very simple, like how movies have a 3-act structure. Supandi is a 1-act structure. So, Supandi fucks up. His master makes a sound effect. End of the script. That's it. It's always gasp.
Or he gets fired, right? Doesn't he get fired like at every job? No. But I will say this: I found a discernible difference between Supandi and this other new kind of spin-off, which is like a young Sheldon called Little Supandi. I don't know if you've seen this. So in the earlier Supandi cartoons, it used to be like him and his grandma who he stays with. In this one, it's like his mother was there in it, and she says something and he does something stupid, but instead the mother goes like, "Oh, Supandi." So it was a lot more like heartwarming in some way, because he's just like, oh, he's just a kid. It's fine. He's an idiot.
Dude,
but it's fine.
I'm telling you, I think they are trying to cover up for Supandi's failures, because Supandi has to be the one guy. As a kid, right, I would love that every cartoon, and I've got the book right now to prove it. Every time he screws up, the owner or the master, they say something which just can't be understood. Like, see, this guy did question mark, exclamation mark. This one said yes, but my favorite is ok.
What is interjections? You know what? Again, if the Adam West Batman series had a pow and a baff and a bip, we have awk and a guffaw.
Gasp. Yeah.
So Sahil, so does it change your perspective when you're writing for Tinkle as opposed to enjoying it? You still enjoy it, I'm sure.
I enjoyed the writing process, because the fact is, for me, it was always a lifelong dream to write for either the comics, or my idea was when I would grow up, I would be like every kid, right? You want to work in the comics industry, or I thought I'll work with Tinkle, or I'll work with Amar Chitrakatha. Oh my God, that's what
ACK, man.
Nothing beats ACK. Like I still have a huge collection of Amar Chitrakatha, and that's like that the Mahabharata of Amar Chitrakatha, that defines it for me.
Oof. Yeah,
that explains it.
I would know nothing about Hindu mythology and other stories, Akbar, Birbal, if not for ACK.
Yeah, man, ACK was the best. So that was my dream. So when I wrote it, it was quite exciting, but also it gets a little frustrating because there's only these many stereotypes you can exploit, right? That's why I think they went into reader generated, because if you're one person who has to think of how many times Supandi fails, after the 6th time you're like, dude, wow, get your shit together, Supandi. Like,
I remember you were telling us earlier that there is one defining characteristics of many Tinkle characters. What was that?
Yes. So I was writing an entire set on Tinkle, and while I was writing on Tinkle and I was writing on Archie's, okay, and I came across two great realizations. I'll tell you my Archie's realization first, and I was like, oh wow, genius. Each of the Archie's character is the 7 deadly sins.
What?
I love it. Archie's my favorite. So what is he?
Archie would be lust. Okay, Reggie is pride. Jughead is what's gluttony. Betty is envy. See, I am fitting everything. Veronica is greed, and I'm missing out 2 more. I think. What are the other 2?
There's sloth, right? Which is like lethargy. That would be hot dog.
Yeah. or moose. Moose could come under lethargy.
I love that Archie's lust. That's so
anger
sad.
is the one we missed.
Anger. Then I think Moose would be anger.
Moose.
Then we'll have to give slot to someone else. Moose was definitely anger.
Yeah. I'm telling you, sloth is hot dog, dude. Hot dog is sloth. So
this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that's an amazing insight. So and what about Tinkle?
Tinkle, my entire theory about Tinkle was that every single person in Tinkle is a failure. Everyone fails. There is no success story. Like you spoke about Tantri the Mantri, right? Tantri the Mantri became the king. But then, you know what's so sad is that his entire career was based on failures. But when he did succeed and become the king, he realized that being a king itself is a failure. It hurts,
tough.
But it's tough.
Yeah.
But everyone
So more money, more problems.
Like Supandi, bad at his job. Shikari Shambu, very bad at his job. He catches them only by accident, but he's a failure as a hunter. I mean, not that you should be hunting. Kalia again and again, a failure as a crow. You are a shame on the crow species, and every crow insults you. Every time I hear a crow caw, I am 100% sure they are screaming, Kalia, fuck you, Kalia. So that's who else is there?
What about Nasruddin Hodja, dude? He's alright. He's getting along.
What did Hodja
He's kind
do
of
exactly?
He's kind of like a wise ass.
The rule.
Maybe he's the exception that proves the rule.
But he's a bit of a wise ass, but usually his entire thing was schooling like people who just come over to have a normal conversation with him. They'd be like, Acha Nasruddin, what's happening? And he for no reason would like totally own them with like some kind of
he was a
puzzle.
Is he a dick? Is Nasruddin Hodja a dick?
Must be.
I just thought he was cool. But let's conclude then by saying this, right? That if these characters are, so to speak, failures, I think the one thing that makes them very lovable is that maybe they're relatable on some level, right? So Pandi, though he makes many failures, still manages to keep that employment rate up, man. Like he keeps getting jobs like everywhere without a reference, clearly, and everybody else is just getting along. Even Tantri just got the job that he always wanted. So
that's the underlying message, that it's okay if you fail, just keep at it. All of them
that's
are
cool.
keeping at it. Simple as
that's
huge.
Positivity.
There's positivity at the end. Look at Tantri.
And it's also it's also where learning meets fun. What can I say? All right, guys. So it's time for us to move to the last segment of this show. It's where we give you a series of topics, and you're going to give us your hot takes on them. What are hot takes for people who don't know? It's what you do on Twitter every day, where you think your opinion is what matters, but it doesn't. Having said that, for the purpose of this episode, Sahil Shah, your hot takes are very important to us. So now we're going to give you 5 things.
Let's lead off with, since we're talking about comics, Tintin versus Asterix. Which camp were you in?
This is very tight, but I would any day be Camp Asterix.
Really?
I would any day be Camp Asterix, because the fact of the matter is, after a point of time, Tintin gets a little boring because he's solving cases and all. I'm like, I don't care. Asterix, on the other hand, is just adventure after adventure, and every episode they come up with a brand new name, like Dogmastics, Vital Statistics. Oh my God. When I grew up, I realized that these names are actual words, and I'm like,
yes,
I think that's true for me as well. Yeah,
it's this moment where you're like, wait a second, I just got this joke like 20 years later.
Dude, it's Asterix every day. Dude, I'm telling you, as a kid, I've collected Mad Comics, Phantom Comics, Asterix, Obelix, Tintin, Tinkle, and Goosebumps, and I have that collection at home. That is my library, nostalgia library.
You should be proud of that collection. That's a great.
I am
that's
very
bunch
proud
of titles.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams' Star Wars. Where do you stand on it? So the new Star Wars movies, specifically Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
30 seconds.
30 seconds is a little too short, man.
That's the point.
Let's just put it this way, okay? Let's just put it this way. Someone recently messaged me on Instagram saying, hey, I want to watch all the Star Wars movies, and in which order should I watch them? Okay? And I'm making Meghna also watch them right now. 4, 5, 6 always. Then you do 1, 2, 3, 7 if you're adventurous, 8, and 9 you buy a Blu-ray and you burn it. And you burn it so that there's one less Blu-ray available in the world, because that movie shat all over everything that existed. And I get very angry when I talk about it, because I'd seen that movie with so many with minimal expectations, because its expectation broken after broken after broken. The 9th one, it hurt. It hurt.
You should, Sahil, you should know that we all have very varied opinions on Star Wars. But
wait, 1 second, real quick. Okay, I'm going to ask you. Okay, Tinkle and Tejas. Okay, I'm going to interfere and ask you guys, what is your opinion? Yes or no?
On all, God, it's impossible.
I love all those movies. I think 8 is a masterpiece, and I think 9 is bad, but I love it. So
I think 8 is amazing, 7 is great, and 9 is, well, disappointing.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but I love it. So what can I do? Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, the Hobbit trilogy.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love the fact that you can expand on the entire universe. See, anything that is a good expansion is what is appreciated, right? So, like, for
example, this is so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, I enjoyed, but can I be honest? I have only seen the first 2. I think I have not seen the third one. Yeah,
like, so you like it, but not enough to watch all of it.
No, because see, I'll be very honest. I've tried Lord of the Rings. I stayed up. I did a full marathon, and I'm not even kidding. During the last and final scene when they dropped the ring in the mountain, I passed out. So I'm a failure in that. I know. I'm so sorry, guys. Please don't get angry. Please. I know.
No. There's no judgment on this. Only in the comment section. Rank the live action Spider-Man.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, but I would always say that for me, the old Tobey Maguire movies are the best. I would say, I'm sorry, man.
That's the right answer.
No, that's the correct answer.
Your childhood is your childhood. And I saw the new Venom. I'm like, even though you hated the old Venom, the new Venom sucks balls. Okay, the old Venom, oh my God, it's just I can't. I prefer the old school Tobey Maguire. I prefer I've seen all the memes of him. I have seen evil Tobey. There's a guy on YouTube. Okay, I forgot his name. I'll try to. He does these funny edits of movie trailers. Okay, I'll send you guys a link. And he did this where he created a character called Bully Maguire, where every scene Tobey Maguire comes and either throws something away or slaps someone. You have to watch it. It's beautiful. It's gone beyond pop culture now.
Cool. All right. So that's our list, Sahil Shah. Thank you so much for being here on Crossover event. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
You know what? Honestly, if I were to plug something, I would say that a lot of people don't read Indian comics because they're like, it's not as much fun, or it's boring. And obviously now people have become so pop culturally sensitive that for them, oh my God, Marvel, DC, which team are you? I'm like, no, I'm Team Tinkle and I always will be. So if you're bored, go out, pick up a Tinkle comic and read it. Even though times have changed and the drawing is different, it is still a lot of fun. And I would suggest a lot more people read Indian comics, man. Tinkle, Chacha Chaudhary, all those, whatever that is, be a bit more well-versed with Indian pop culture. It's fun. It's not that bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's where learning meets fun. Sorry.
I was going to say, maybe when you're an old man or old woman and you're looking back on your life and the moment you picked up a Tinkle comic, you can remember that it happened to you. So thank you. Thank you, Sahil Shah, for being here on this episode of Crossover Run with Dinkar and me, Tejas. Everyone check out Sahil Shah's his stuff on YouTube and just follow him generally on Instagram. All right. Cool.
All right. Bye, friends.
Thanks a lot.
This was a lot of fun.
Pranam. Yes, it was.
Supandi tells you bye. Say bye. Say bye.
Awk.
Awk.
Awk.